Hello my viewers, welcome back to the fourth match of Season 19 of the Advanced League. Well, not literally the fourth match, but the fourth match I'm commentating. This one's between RedCrimp and Depression Cherry. This one's going to be a little different today because I'm actually doing a live-comm instead of a post-comm for the most part, and I always skim through the replays, not really analyzing the game to its fullest until now, so once again I'm going to be surprised a bit to see how these matches are going to unfold. It'll be very exciting. If you want to see the remainder of the matches being commentated from Season 19, while we're in the mid-season between Season 19 and 20, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. How about we start this show? So, RedCrimp leads with Regirock, Depression Cherry leads with Cloyster. Very uncommon leads once again. Regirock leads kind of symbolize physical offense, I want to say. It's usually designed to break through a rock check like Swampert. And a Cloyster lead implies that Depression Cherry has an offensive team, so this is probably going to be a quick match, but we gotta see how things pan out. Cloyster spikes turn 1, and Regirock Thunder Waves, crippling the Cloyster, and immediately blows it up, preventing more spikes layers. And now RedCrimp gets a favorable matchup by having Snorlax in against the Suicune. This could be an offensive Suicune for all we know. With Snorlax as the check to special attackers, I think it further confirms that RedCrimp brought offense. Like a really offensive team. We see the Suicune use Surf, so it's probably not offensive, and it didn't do a lot to the Snorlax as it sets up with Curse. Maybe Cherry's running a balanced team of sorts and was scouting for Magneton and brought Cloyster as a safeguard. Snorlax is just going to go for Curses instead of damaging the Suicune. Maybe it just has Body Slam and the Suicune wouldn't do a lot of damage. But yeah, Magneton gets forced out early, so this is definitely a physical offense team from RedCrimp. And the Snorlax is just going to keep getting chipped. Maybe it has rest? It probably should have rest. But yeah, that hit on turn 4 was kind of... or that setup on turn 4 was kind of greedy. And the Celebi is just not going to take any damage if it spams substitutes. So yeah, RedCrimp is forced to switch. Yeah, this Celebi can do a number with just Leech Seed on its own because this team from RedCrimp isn't going to last... or isn't built to last very long. So RedCrimp just has to stay at high health and deal as much damage as possible. I wonder if this is a Choice Band Salamence. It might be, or it could be DD-Ments. This Celebi is faster than a Salamence, so this could be like Leech 3 attack Celebi, if the Salamence is a fast Choice Bander or a mixed set, or the Celebi could have a modest nature while this is a DD-Ments. Suicune comes in on Hidden Power, deals a fair amount, so it's probably DD-Ments. Yeah, it has leftovers. See, a Snorlax is already at low HP here. It's probably going to have to go for Self-Destruct if that's in its moveset, which it might be. Or be forced to rest. And Suicune probably could have roared on that turn for more offensive momentum, but it was a good play to just Surf. Magneton... yep, that Self-Destruct was telegraphed, and Magneton was a good sacrifice. And there's a Ninjask! It's one of those teams that pass speed. As if it were Child's Play. And this is a mixed Metagross. Well, luckily... well, the only big threat that can... well, actually, there could be Calm Mind Jirachi. Oh, wait, that's not Hidden Power Fire. Is that Hidden Power Grass Metagross? That's pretty rare. But it didn't... yeah, it didn't really get the matchup it wanted. See, it looks like Calm Mind Jirachi and Calm Mind Suicune are the best two recipients of Baton Pass in this game state, and it could probably do a lot of damage to RedCrimp's team. Or I guess not. They probably couldn't go toe-to-toe with Metagross. Celebi gets a good Leech Seed in, as... ooh, that's a good crit. Yeah, this Celebi is in a little bit of a pickle here. Can probably Leech Seed the Salamence again, but it misses. Huh. So the Celebi does go down. And Ninjas can start setting up on Salamence. If this were the latter, Metagross would have a little bit of a better matchup because it can't be sand attacked. But the sub-pass into Jirachi is kind of worrisome. Yeah, I think this is just T-Punch HP Grass Metagross. And it's setting up Calm Mind, so I think it's ready to go for a sweep here, the Jirachi. Well, actually no, it was probably just so Calm Mind Thunderbolt, Ice Punch? Maybe. So the Metagross does not go down and does not get paralyzed, so that's a little bit unlucky for Cherry. And now Cherry's endgame, oh, there's no stat boost there, is just passing to Suicune and going for a reverse sweep. It's still possible. But not really, because Magneton can just spam Thunderbolt, and it gets the para on Suicune just for good measure. And yeah, that was the game. A pretty explosive match, might I say. Actually, this did last a little longer than I thought, but it does make sense, as Depression Cherry needed the time to whittle down RedCrimp's team with Leech Seed and acquire speed boosts. The strategy did kind of fall apart in the end though. RedCrimp had more than a sufficient amount of physical offensive pressure to deny all of Calm Mind, Spikes, and speed boost setup. He was able to get away with trading his Pokemon for Depression Cherries, and when Magneton, Cloyster, and Ninjask take up 3 slots, and not getting the best outcomes / matchups, getting the other 3 Pokemon down or killed too early would have been irredeemable, in terms of Depression Cherry's win cons that is. RedCrimp's team would have been more at risk if it faced up against like a Ninjask plus Marowak type of structure, because after stuff like Salamence and Regirock get weakened, a fast physical attacker can clean them off relatively easily. The matchup would have been a lot worse for Cherry if RedCrimp had a Blissey instead of a Snorlax, as Blissey would have been immortal instead of toppled over by 2 Surfs. It's not like Blissey would have had to switch out so many times, especially with 1 layer of Spikes. Magneton and Celebi would have had to go overtime with statuses, and Cloyster would have had to time the explosion perfectly. All in all, RedCrimp methodically backed Depression Cherry into a corner until he couldn't have enough tools to fight back with a sweep. Game 2 is coming right up. Onwards! Let's see what happens. We see Zapdos lead and a Tyranitar. Swampert comes out right away, and Depression Cherry goes for a turn 1 sweep. I've seen this before. How is this gonna what's gonna happen this time? RedCrimp probably doesn't have a Skarmory on this team, so it might just be Zapdug as opposed to Spike's offense. Or maybe RedCrimp didn't want to be Fire Blasted by a Mixtar or a Pursuit-tar, as some players like to do that when expecting Metagross or Skarmory to switch in. Earthquake, huh? Must be Hidden Power Bugtar, and Surface 2-Hit KO. And this is Lumberry, so... Oh, it has Double Edge! Oh, I guess I didn't want to put into Torrent range through a crit or something. So... yeah, the Swampert is pretty low, and it might be able to recover a little bit. There is a Skarmory. Interesting. Wonder why RedCrimp didn't go to Skarmory, and maybe they were reading a turn 1 Dragon Dance. Skarmory can't even set up Spikes against the Celebi. It took so much from Celebi. It's Fire, Hidden Power Fire. But at least it gets a Spike against the Registeel, but now both Skarmory and Swampert are at low HP. Skarmory's at 29 and Swampert is at like 30%. This could be bad news for RedCrimp real fast. Gengar comes in on a Seismic Toss, though if it came in on a Thunder Wave that would have been problematic. Maybe it's Taunt Gengar? Let's see. It is! So it's a possibility that this Gengar might just own the Registeel. Better keep it alive for now. Tyranitar pivots in on a Giga Drain. Man, Depression Cherry is getting good with these predictions. Swampert comes in on a double switch to Zapdos. Maybe the Zapdos has HP Grass. Depression Cherry's looking for it. Oh, it's just Roar. If it can get into a groove, that could be really good for RedCrimp, regaining momentum. And did the Swampert not have an item? I think it doesn't have an item. Oh, there's a Raikou. So it's probably one of those teams that tries to beat down Blissey with 5 other Pokemon, so that Raikou can go for a sweep. It gets Toxic as well. Huh. Skarmory gets sacked here after 1 layer. At least there's no Spinner and Depression Cherry's back. And Aerodactyl could potentially go for a sweep here. Or it can like clean the game. The Raikou gets sacrificed already. What? Was it just potentially setup fodder to Dragon Dance Tyranitar? Oh, DD Mets is going for the kill here. Yeah, with Skarm dead and Swampert pretty low, that might just be a full-on sweep. Zapdos goes down. Swampert can barely do anything. RedCrimp can chip heal, but at what cost? Oh! That's greedy, but this is a defensive Swampert anyway. DD Laments? No one runs that in Sand. I mean, it's a good set out of it, but like... oh, whatever. RedCrimp is at like 20 seconds left on their timer. Yeah, this is not going well. Salamence can just win the game now. Also another relatively quick game. Depression Cherry came roaring back. The combination of Calm Mind, Raikou, and Dragon Dance Salamence, when in position, were able to threaten down a lot of offense, along with Swampert and Registeel being in the back to handle Aerodactyl. Their loadout matched up well against what looks like El Clasico. I bet they knew it was that team, letting Salamence set up for a second time and having the Lumberry too. It was perfection. I probably should have suspected it was going to be a really offensive team when Tyranitar Dragon Dance on turn 1, similar to what Mitnyurb did that same week. Furthermore, RedCrimp took a big blow when Skarmory got diced by Celebi, limiting its ability to set up spikes. Had 3 layers gone up, the window for setting up a sweep would have been much narrower. If Raikou weren't there, then Zapdos could have spammed Roar for a bit longer, racking up spikes damage. The Raikou really put a wrench in RedCrimp's game plan, as El Clasico has no checks against it, causing a lot of panic. Zapdug would have been a better matchup against Cherry's mixed offense team here. A decisive comeback for the Tooth Fairies. It all comes down to a tiebreaker. Who's going to claim the win? No need to wait any longer, right? In Game 3, double Reggie leads. That's a first for me, at least I think so. So that means both players probably have similar team structures. A switch out here, as Regirock Thunder Waves. Now Claydol has to... oh no. Whoa, that's a crit. Regirock was forced to switch out, and Claydol predicted a switch, and got a critical hit on Psychic. That's already a lot of damage there. Now Metagross switches in, on a double switch to Blissey. That's really good, that's a good comeback from RedCrimp. And ooh! Okay, the Magneton trap didn't really do much, but I guess Magneton was trying to avoid a Thunder Wave from Registeel. Potentially. Suicune's already at 45%, I hope it has rest. Although based on the percentage, as you see right here, not that percentage, the percentage of HP lost, it probably is rest with like 404 HP. And yeah, it is rest. Resting up early. This Registeel hasn't revealed Thunder Wave, so maybe it doesn't have it, or it's just... okay, this is Rest Talk Suicune. So this could be a very good win condition here. Especially if it tries to get, especially if it gets like Blissey out. I think this is a Registeel Virgin 5 team based on the first 3 Pokemon. Yeah, if Blissey is out and Skarmory's like really chipped, then Suicune can probably win the game on the spot. Well, it also has to worry about explosions. Okay, so... oh yeah, it is Thunder Wave for Registeel. I guess Suicune was anticipating a Roar or something. Huh. This Registeel doesn't want to explode yet. Okay, now Blissey comes in here. I wonder if this is a Calm Mind set, because a Calm Mind set can deal with Rest Talk Suicune. Well, it has Thunderbolt, so probably... oh, that's a nasty paralysis, especially if he gets dugged later. And Skarmory just gets a free opportunity to spike here. Oh, double switch. Except RedCrimp caught it and killed the Dugtrio right away. Looks like the Magneton is trapping the Skarmory this game. So that's a lot of forced progress there. Now Suicune just walls Registeel, I guess. Yeah, this thing's just gonna get PP stalled, so Depression Cherry needs something else to deal with Suicune. Blissey's a good stopgap, but Metagross can just switch in, but can't... oh, that's a crit! Nasty crit! That's a very lucky Blissey, and it's... oh, we haven't revealed this item yet, but it's not Lucky Punch, it's definitely leftovers. Wow. That thing got hacked with 2 Thunderbolts on this Metagross. But luckily this Metagross's value is going a little bit down, so... it's probably a bit more expendable than it was, but man. But let's be real, it can't really do much to Skarmory. Registeel comes in on a Snorlax. RedCrimp's mixing up plays. And Suicune's just gonna hard check this Registeel. Skarmory comes in on a Calm Mind, so it's gonna have to take a lot of damage from Surf. Or not, just go to Magneton. And a double switch. That was a good mid-ground from Cherry. Regirock comes in to absorb some hits. Not Snorlax, interesting. Another failed Thunder Wave against Claydol. I'm wondering if this Claydol has Refresh over Explosion. That is a possibility, and it would leave Depression Cherry with 1 less answer for Suicune. That special drop is probably inconsequential. And it rests up again. Do we see... no, we don't see an explosion here, so I think this Claydol has Refresh. That's a big crit with Earthquake. Salamence comes in on another double switch to Blissey. And now we see Snorlax checking the... oh, wow! That Blissey just had 3 out of 4 attacks that got a lot of hacks. Oh my god. Poor RedCrimp. I mean, Snorlax... I mean, Snorlax is probably the best target to get frozen in this game state. Except maybe Regirock? I'm not sure. I mean, at least Freeze Claws is active, and RedCrimp has enough game pieces to deal with this Virgin 5 team. Wow. Maybe Depression Cherry's Hacks will be on a cooldown. Claydol switches in. Snorlax tries to quote-unquote burn freeze turns, no pun intended. Salamence comes in on an Earthquake. Nicely done. And we reveal the final Mon, Milotic, which probably surprised no one if they knew what a Virgin 5 team is. Or I should have said they're familiar with the team structure. Season 19 really loves their Virgin 5s, especially with Metagross and Registeel. I wonder if Season 20 will have the same trend. And there goes the Skarmory. It gets the one layer and gets fried by Thunderbolt. Yeah, RedCrimp has made so much progress thus far. He's gonna stay with one layer of spikes instead of 3, and Ducktrio cannot trap any ground weak Pokemon. For a Virgin 5 team to make progress in many games, you can sort of boil it down to certain things needing to be done right, and you'd be in a lot of trouble if the corresponding worst case scenarios happen. RedCrimp made one of them happen with a very good maneuver. What do we see now? Regirock is also taking Spike's chip. So it's not like Blissey's answers are gonna last forever. So RedCrimp has to be mindful of this. Yeah, Thunder Wave is not gonna do anything here, dog. Claydol comes in, takes deals a decent amount with Psychic. Oh, that's a big crit. It's not even Choice Banded, so it's probably DD Ments. It's getting some damage on the Blissey, but that can easily be recovered. Here comes Regirock. It's gotta explode soon, but it just keeps using Thunder Wave. What gives? Huh, I mean, at least there's no sand to cripple some of these Pokemon, but Claydol can just... Whatever offensive pressure Claydol has, it's working. And same with Blissey. It's only a matter of time until... Yeah, one crit and this thing's gone. Registeel comes in, Telegraphed Explosion, and RedCrimp loses a bit of momentum here. At least Magneton can trap the Registeel. It just needs like 3 Thunderbolt hits, which is decent, which has decent odds. Ooh, Seismic Toss does a lot there. And a full para. RedCrimp's just getting haxed. Oh my god. Okay, Registeel's down to 11. Ooh, and it gets paralyzed. And now it's gone. Now Depression Cherry has to work with 3 Pokemon, which makes PP stalling a little bit harder. And now actually Snorlax can just burn, or can just go through freeze turns here. Because what's Claydol gonna do? Explode with a refresh? Or explode with refresh on its moveset? Yeah, Snorlax could just sit on... Oh, not another Earthquake crit. Come on. I thought Cherry's Hacks was on a cooldown. Salamence is already at half health. That's a little bit concerning, but it's not like it's going to do much in this game state anyway. What's it going to set up on? But as I was saying, okay, there is the Thaw out, and Snorlax can just go for Curse and Rest, I think. This looks very similar to a team. I think RedCrimp brought this team already. I gotta check the recording. Yes, he did. This was from game 1. Oh, a Boom on the Claydol. Not the best target. This is gonna get a little bit ugly here. Well, if it's Last Mon Suicune versus Last Mon Milotic, then RedCrimp wins. Oh, nasty Rock Slide miss. Very unlucky there. And a crit just to rub it in his face. Oh my god, this is a hacks heavy game. Okay, it all comes down to Calm Mind wars, I guess. Yeah, it's just a battle of the Calm Minds. Who does not get haxed first? That could have been phrased better. Okay, Thunderbolt does 30%. Wow. If a Thunderbolt paras here, then it's done. Then it's lights out. RedCrimp has had a commanding lead this whole game, but then they lost control and got quite a lot of hacks. They are now at the mercy of good Sleep Talk rolls and Thunderbolts, dealing just too little damage. Here's the obligatory rest. I mean, how much PP does Blissey have left of Thunderbolt? Showdown says there's 17 PP left, but with pressure I want to say it's like 11 or 13. I'm not keeping an exact count, but Blissey has at most 7 more Thunderbolts against the Suicune, so the odds of getting a crit 1 out of 7 times isn't very high, but doable. But once those Thunderbolt PP run out, it's over for Depression Cherry. Yeah, it's just gonna be another Calm Mind War. Have your popcorn ready, but not for long, I think. And now both Pokemon are at 4 times stats. And now it's just a battle for who gets the first crit, or who gets PP stalled. Oh, I spoke too soon. Suicune just crit the Blissey right away. I mean, it was an uphill battle anyway for Depression Cherry, but still, that's gotta hurt. And the first crit at +6 too. Unbelievable. One could argue that it was karma for all the hacks Depression Cherry laid on RedCrimp that whole game. Especially from that Blissey too. That Blissey hacks the crap out of RedCrimp's Pokemon. But Suicune pulled out in the end. And what's Milotic gonna do anyway? It's a 2-hit KO, and Milotic can't spam recover forever. And there's a forfeit. Oh my god, that was quite a tiebreaker. It took me quite a while to figure out that RedCrimp was reusing the Game 1 team, and I don't know if Depression Cherry caught on as well, but looking at your opponent's hand is only half the battle. While RedCrimp's team doesn't particularly have a lot of longevity, it has quite a bit of immediate firepower to attempt to wall break, even though explosions can be telegraphed at times. Luckily there were 3 checks to Blissey, so even if this Blissey had Serene Grace over a Natural Cure, they would be favored to remove the obstacle for Suicune to actually win. Except Snorlax's self-destruct was predicted. I have to say, both players did outplay each other on many turns. The game would have been so much more favorable for Cherry if Dugtrio did trap the Magneton on the Switch. Once again, this game was rife with critical hits and status conditions from attacking moves. Those bits of RNG kept coming and mainly made RedCrimp go through Plan B, Plan C, Plan D, and so on. And at the end, the one Surf crit when it mattered the most made up for all the hacks they had gotten. If you viewers like this type of commentary where I mix in live-comm and post-comm, I would like to know in the comments. If you have no preference, tell me what I should do anyway. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. I cannot wait to commentate another great game, and be on the lookout for when that happens. This is Starstruck Shiny, signing off.